This video is about Minuet in C, piece A3 in the current Grade 1 Associated Board Exam pieces. I'm going to go through each hand separately and talk about things to watch out for before putting them together. So I'll start with the right hand. Good, so your right hand starts in this position, thumb on middle C, a very familiar position. Now, if you look at the second bar, you'll notice the first note in that second bar is G with finger number 5, followed by another G with finger number 1. So that's the first thing perhaps to think about, is that's our first change of position. So if I play up to there quite slowly, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. People get a bit scared of position changes like that, but it's actually a really easy way of changing position on a repeated note. So practice, if you need to, just practice going 5, 1, 5, 1. And see if you can do it without looking at your fingers, because as with so many things, that's the key to getting really confident with it. 5, 1. Don't worry if you can't quite, but you can sort of feel your way because you're bringing your thumb to the same note. So with a little practice, you should be able to do it. That puts us in position for the rest of the first line. So playing the first line, now you'll notice the beginning of the next line, bar 5, I'll notice C, but it says 2. So again, it's a change of position. Now you can either do what it says and just move before playing the note. So if I go from the previous bar, that would mean doing this. So that would be moving up 2 steps. Or you can do what I think I prefer, which is use the same sort of position change as we did in bar 2. In other words, change on the second C. Play the first C with the finger that's already there, which is finger 4, and then play the next C with finger 2. I think that's easier and more comfortable. So going from the previous bar again, stay in position, then change. And then that puts us in position for the rest of the line. I'm not giving out finger numbers for every note, but if you need to write in finger numbers, feel free to do that. So just going over that first half again, we have 2 position changes. I'm going to change position the way one, 4, 2, so we've finished on C with our second finger. Now I think before playing the second half of the piece, I'm going to look at what the left hand does in the first half. Okay, so your left hand starts here, little finger on C, first line very straightforward, C, E, F, G, 5, 3, 2, 1. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now then there's a position change, and you can't prepare for this very much, although because you have to get your 5th finger to E, and you also have to open out your fingers so that your thumb is on C. So your new position is this, thumb on C, gap between 1 and 2, between your thumb and your second finger, and then the other finger's there. So bar 6, where it says 4, that's not a change of position. You keep in the same position with that gap between your thumb and your other fingers. And then the G in bar 7 you'll play with 3. I'll stop there for a moment. Now, I said just now you couldn't prepare for that very well. If you like, the last note of the first line, then bar 4 was G with the thumb. So you could sort of do this. You could, while holding that, you could do this. Certainly you need to think about it while you're holding it. And then you need to... So, or you can simply move your whole hand like that. 1, 2, 3. It takes a bit of practice to know exactly where your hand's going, but it's not too difficult. Remember that as well as moving up basically 2 steps, you're also making a bigger gap between your fingers and your thumb. So you're moving up 2 steps, but also opening out your thumb. Sorry about the siren noise, if you can hear that. Okay, so I'll play the whole of the first half left hand. I'll do it not too slow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Move. Okay, and here I forgot to talk about that last bar, bar 8. So bar 7, we've played G with our 3rd finger. Now the pattern in bar 8 is a very, very common left-hand pattern in this kind of music. It's basically C, the key note, followed by G, the 5th of the scale, and another C further down. Now you have just played a G with your 3rd finger. I do recommend following the fingering here, which is 1, 2, 5. So you'll slightly increase the gap there from there to there. So watch me play from the previous bar. 3rd finger on G. That needs a bit of practice, because even then you have to reach down further for that low C. But doing it with 3 makes it harder, and it's not very comfortable either. So I recommend that. Again, I mean, you could, while holding the previous note, you could change to 2nd finger while holding it. I don't think that's particularly necessary. Playing all of that line. 2, 3, 1, open out, reach down a little bit. You'll probably find the first time you try it, you don't hit that bottom C, you'll hit a D instead. You need to open out here and also open out here a little bit. Now, I think before going on to the second half, I'm going to look at putting the hands together for the first half. So, obviously the hardest thing in putting the hands together is the position changes, because they tend to lead to panic, especially if you have to change position in both hands, as you sort of do at the beginning of the second line, except that if you follow my suggestion of the right hand changing on the second beat, then you don't. But it's worth just thinking about your positions altogether. So try this. You're starting in this position, a C major position, C, D, E, F, G, C, D, E, F, G. Then the right hand will change there, so you go. So that's our starting position. Left hand doesn't change there. Now, beginning of the second line, left hand moves to there. Then you change position in the right. That's my suggestion. You'll have to practice this really slowly, but don't be scared of putting the hands together. Yeah, so I'll play that very slowly. So I'm starting in this position. 1, 2, 3. changes, stay in position. I'm thinking about what comes next. Left hand changes, right hand changes. Open out the left hand, open out a bit more. I think I'll do that once more. Change fingers. Move left hand, including open out left hand, open out a bit more. Sorry, I didn't finish my sentence here. What I was going to say for bar 5 was move left hand, including opening out. So you're moving from a 5-note position to a 6-note position. Focus on getting the thumb to C, if you like, with a little gap. And then the reason I didn't finish the sentence is that that was immediately followed by the right hand position change. And so on. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. Now let's look at this second half. I'll start with the right hand again. Now, we finished up in this position with our last note was C, and we played it with our second finger. The first note of bar 9 is E with the third, which means we move up 1 step. Now that's not difficult. Just 1 step going from there to there. And then you have to come down an octave. So bar 9 is in a 5-note position. Bar 10, for the second beat, you reach down for an octave. You're going from G to G. So obviously that will be with your thumb. Again, we play octaves so much in music, it's really useful to be able to find that note without looking, and with a bit of practice you can. Depending on how big your hand is, if you can stretch an octave, that's excellent. If you can't or can't yet, then you may need to move a little bit. Even then, see if you can do it without looking. Trial and error. I don't mean I expect you to be able to do it without looking the first time, but if you practice it, you should be able to. The other thing that it's important to say there is, as well as reaching down for the G, you don't leave those fingers up there. They follow, because you come into a new 5-note position like that. So watch, going from bar 9 again, reach down, other fingers follow. And then that finger number 4 in bar 11, that's not a change of position if you've done what I've said. Basically, you're already there. And then bar 13, that also is not a change of position. 2 is the finger that's on there. And then this one, the same sort of position change we had before in bar 14. You'll play the first of those Cs with your 4th finger, and then you'll change to your 2nd finger for the repeated note. So going from bar 13, change, and then the rest of the piece you can play in that position. Okay, so just going through all that right hand second half. Stay in position. Change. Good. So let's look at the left hand second half. So we finished the first half there. You did C, G, C, and that involved a bit of opening out of the hand and reaching down that little bit further. Our next note is middle C again, so having done 1, 2, 5, make sure the thumb comes back to where it was at the beginning of the previous bar. If you've got nice big hands, you can probably do it like that. If you don't, or if that's not comfortable, you'll probably need a little glance down just to find the note again. Then it's fairly straightforward from bar 9, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bar 13 is not a change of position, but then this is. So bar 13, it says 5, but that's not a change of position. You're still in this position. You go 5, 1, 5, 1. Then you just open out. Keep the thumb on C, but make that movement of opening out, which by now should be feeling quite familiar. And then what was F in the previous bar is replaced by E, which means that your fourth should now be on F. So bar 15 is 4, 3, and again, that finger number is not a change of position. So we've ended up playing G with our third again, and then we do exactly what we did at the end of the first half, which is 1, 2, 5. So if I play all that again, the second half fairly fast. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Staying in position, opening out, staying in position, 4, 3, 1, reach down. Good, so putting the hands together for that, we finished the first half with right hand second finger there, and left hand doing that opening out thing again. Then there is a very slight change in both hands. You've got to reach back up for the middle C with your left hand thumb, and you've got to move your right hand one step up. Basically, both thumbs are now going to C. I think you'll find that fairly straightforward. Just focus on the thumbs being on C. So if I go from bar, let's see, bar 7, we do that. And detach these a little bit. Doesn't all need to be legato, and certainly it's useful if you detach that one a little bit to make sure you're in position there. Okay, I'll go from bar 7 just once more, so I've got my third finger there, fourth finger there. Open out the left, open out a bit more, back up to here. Right hand opens out, other fingers follow. Left hand stays in position. Both hands stay in position here. Left hand opens out, right changes on the repeated note. Stay in position. Left hand opens out a bit more. So the last bar is the same as the last bar of the first half, so that shouldn't present any difficulties. So in that second half, I think generally the position changes are maybe easier than the first half. Anyway, I hope that's all helpful. I'm just going to play the whole thing now. I'm not doing the repeats, of course. If you were performing this, you would normally do the repeats. For the exam, you don't. Just thinking about dynamics, once you've mastered the notes, first line P, so quite quiet, second line a little louder, and then the second half rather louder. So, something like this. And that's it. I know that was quite a long video, but I hope that was helpful. And that's the end of this video.